right. I'm just kind of listening to everybody talk to get a little sound. We really don't know what we're doing, so this is
perfect. I don't know what you guys are doing. Great. Perfect. It's gonna work out great.
We're coming to you live from Eaker's Barbershop.
Yep, welcome to
We are the Gogh-Getters.
The next Gogh-Getters podcast. I'd like to shout out to Ed's Deli as well.
Carrie Eaker and Rich for letting us have the space. Ed.
Eaker's Barbershop. We got some cookies in back for us from Ed's Deli across the street.
Really good cookies.
All right. You might tempt me. You might get
right.
me. You might get me.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Curious now.
So on today's podcast, I think this is podcast number 7?
Yes.
7. It's a powerful
We're
number.
early. Yeah. We're early in our life as podcasters.
Yes,
but
we are.
today we have Mr. Wil Thomas
The third.
the third.
The third.
Will, great to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
thanks for
having me.
being
Thanks for being here.
Congratulations on making it 7 episodes. Wow. That's we're still at it. That must mean it's going well.
We don't have a negative number, nothing. We're good.
No, congratulations. That's no small feat. That's cool.
Yeah, thanks,
you.
man.
Most people don't
We're
get
having
things
fun.
off the ground, you know?
We try to, I mean, there's some structure, but we try to wing it.
Yeah. Mom would want me to lose this gum. I'd have to hear about it.
I mean, you could have brought her with you.
see it too, believe me. If I'd
You know, though, last
if I'd have brought
time,
Mom, I wouldn't have got a word in edgewise.
Oh, that would have been fun.
I mean, should we be
Next time.
interviewing her?
She's an artist.
She is?
Oh.
She's a sick artist. She's the best artist I know.
Seriously, where is she?
She's in St. Louis, in Normandy. So she works in a couple mediums. Mom works in clay is the medium,
Right.
but I would consider it sculpture. She makes busts, essentially, is the thing she likes to make.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So she channels these freaking people, and these people appear. I try not to ask questions.
Right.
She's working through something, and I don't know what or they're working through her. I don't know, but she's an amazing artist. She works in the clay, and then she also does stained glass.
Oh, that's beautiful.
She's
That's awesome.
always, macrame. It's always been something.
She's just busy, right? Her
Yeah.
fingers are busy and want to make something. And
She was a teacher, public schools, 42 years, St. Louis public schools,
Oh,
and
nice.
special education. And then I think that forces you to have all these projects, and you're building a teepee, and you're doing this and that. And
right.
she couldn't let that, she can't let that energy go. So maybe at the heart of it, she's really an artist. And
Yeah.
teaching was her
She totally
profession.
an
What's
artist.
Mom's name?
Forrestine.
Forrestine. Well, for the viewers, we would like to have Forrestine join us in a conversation. at some
Yeah,
point.
That's a
right.
great
You guys
name.
should get Mom. I'm not kidding.
Cool. No.
I'll come with her to hold it down. But you should have her. She's, you know what? She's just a really inspiring kind of person. She's 80. Oh Lord, Mom's 84 now.
She just
As
had
of
a
this
birthday,
week,
right?
She just had a birthday
nice.
last week on the 2nd.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah,
happy birthday.
Yeah, and she's
Forrestine,
great
that's a
health
great
and
name.
way sharper than I am. So I don't know what that says.
So does she live with you in Alton?
No, no.
No way.
She wants to, but we might get there one day. But no, she's in her house and doing her thing. Super independent. She drives. She does everything.
That's cool.
She gets around a little better than me. I'll say that.
I was going to say, she gets
She does
along
pretty
better
good.
than my dad does.
And she gets, she just has all her projects between the art and the yard and the house. Her favorite thing to do is rearrange the furniture, every Thursday. Move it. I know you. No, I don't know you, actually.
Hi.
We have visitors.
Yeah, that's right. That was our first fan that came by.
Yes.
We have our listener Kevin, and now we have our fan who walked by.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to welcome a new follower, Michael Beatty.
Oh, Michael's great.
Singer,
Hey, Michael.
songwriter, artist from New York City.
What a talent.
He told me he followed us, so we were up to 2 audience members. Will, so you have a big follow. You have a
Wow.
Like maybe you could share the podcast, or we could maybe pick up 3 and 4.
You might. I would be happy to do that. I'd be happy to do that.
I'm thinking mom's going to be listening for sure.
I think you guys are, I watched a couple and you guys are, it's cool. It's cool. I think you guys
it's
are going to
fun.
find your audience for sure, and it's just going to grow. And I like how organic it is. So
Right.
that's
Appreciate that.
how you're going to find your organic
I'm
audience.
a little humbled and intimidated because you're an amazing filmmaker and director, and we'll get into that. So I was a little nervous about our setup and our film and what we're doing here, and we're low budget, like a bunch of little rascals throwing shit together. And I appreciate you for.
Well, I had all the budget in the world, so you should be intimidated. No, I know about a shoestring budget. We can talk about that for sure, and why that lends to creativity. I think actually, for sure.
So I guess the first question that I'd like to start off with is, we already kind of talked about it via text. I need to know about the tattoo.
The tattoo?
Yeah, you had mentioned
tattoo?
talk about a tattoo.
Oh, no. Wait, what was the tattoo question?
No, it was like you said the very first question would be like, hey, he's like, bring up, like if you want to hear a funny story, bring up the tattoo question.
You know what? You're right. I did say that, didn't I? I regret saying that. I think I had watched one of the other podcasts, Gogh-Getters.
Yeah.
And in one of the podcasts, I don't know who asked who what.
I think that might have been the first one.
The question was, "What was your first tattoo?" Maybe it was Juan's
Yeah.
podcast. What was do you remember your first tattoo? And I was like, "Oh God, I pray they don't ask me that." And then I was like, "I should tell Juan. It's really funny."
Oh, please do.
Long before Will was whatever you're going to think I am, which is not maybe as accurate as what I am, artist or whatever I'm doing currently in this aspect of life. And there's been many chapters. One chapter was this thing called the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for your
Simplified, do or
service.
die, Thank you very much. And that was just a very spur of the moment kind of thing. To get out of my previous life prior to that, if that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
But my first tattoo was in the Philippines, in Subic Bay, in a little tattoo shop that supposedly was an Officer and a Gentleman. Y'all are old enough to remember Officer
Yeah.
and a
Oh, yeah,
Gentleman.
absolutely.
Supposedly the same tattoo shop in the beginning when he's walking through Subic. And it was a bad boy.
I know which one you're
You're
talking
19 years old or 18 years old or whatever.
Right. And
This
you
is
probably thought that
maybe
was the
not the
coolest shit.
smartest choice to make. And it takes you all of about 2 days to realize that.
Do you guys realize which one he got? It was
Which-
the
what
Bad
is it?
Boy
The
Club.
Bad Boy Club.
Oh no!
It was real popular back in the 90s.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, it was
this is okay. And to make it worse, I got it right here. Okay,
It's not even on your arm.
No, it's not on your arm. This is a bad idea. I should probably cover this up. So what do? I go back to the same guy in the same town. Oh man, that's my life.
So what you use to cover it up?
The bad boy's bad enough, right? We don't
Yeah.
need to get into that. It was a tribal eagle globe and anchor, a la Anthony Kiedis, Red Hot Chili Peppers kind of situation. Yeah. That worked out really well. That has not aged out at all. Anyway,
Love it.
I would hope you would ask me that question a little bit later.
I mean,
Thank you
I'll
for leading with
resend
that.
you the text because, like, the very first question we should ask should be
My bad.
We like to start out hot.
Don't
Yeah,
tempt us.
you
Don't
did.
tempt us.
yeah.
Please edit that part out, and then let's begin now.
Well, no, I felt like that would be a good question that we could use for a teaser.
Yeah.
For to promote your segment as we move forward with the
That's
conversations.
excellent. That's excellent. You got me.
So when we talk about Wil Thomas, like things that in sharing the information, this is great because I've known you for a very, very long time.
Sure.
But I've known you from like the nightclub industries, like, running with Ducky, Mr. Donald.
Oh yeah, of course.
But this was a great learning experience for me because there was just so many different facets of your life that I was just really oblivious to. So this was a great opportunity for me to, get to know more about Wil Thomas, who I would like to call it out as a creator.
There you go.
So things that, your involvement in directing, producing, you've done cameos in some music videos. I mean, it's just really cool just to see all the stuff that you've done. I mean, one of my favorites also, you've done some advertising with Caddis, the eye appliance people. So I really appreciate their stuff. So
Not just Caddis, but for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I like their stuff. So I just this was just a great opportunity to explore more about who you are as from a creative artist standpoint, and that was like one of the things that I wanted to bring the guys in to talk to you about.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. That's cool. Yeah, Wil Thomas. What's the question?
So, I mean, I feel like I've nailed everything down, but is there anything else that we could describe? I mean...
No, I think it's I'm not an artist in the sense of a traditional thing where I think when we were talking about mom a second ago, I was saying what mom's medium is this. Wil doesn't necessarily... I'm speaking of myself in the third person. That's weird. Right. Yeah, Wil's an artist. I don't necessarily have a specific medium. Like I'm not known for painting or I'm not known for whatever. I've used my creative energy towards multiple endeavors and continue to discover what that even means for me or why I do it. Or and like I said about other things, it's generally just an organic process. Yeah. Just things that inspire me at the moment and I get into or can't shake it and there's involvement. I would say that if I had any medium, it's just life. I'm pretty good art. My life is representative of art, I guess, in a weird way.
I think creators just have this natural tendency to be curious.
Yes.
And so I think that's why I see you were curious about something and you're going to gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
And either go experience it and tackle it, whether that's
Absolutely.
directing or even acting, like in one of the films that I saw that you were acting in as well.
Yeah. The acting thing was new to me. Well, yes and no. When I was a kid, I grew up here in St. Louis. So when I was a kid, I was involved in some acting, like Muni Student Theater Project and things like that. Okay. But I'd never done any serious. I mean, this is preteen stuff. Sure. But I'd never done any serious acting since that time, or considered that. I'd been involved with like a lot of projects, like you mentioned one, whether it's music videos or supporting things. But not necessarily like a lead or whatever co-lead role. Mm-hmm. So that was a little bit of a challenge, but that particular situation, I assume we'll talk about Passenger later, though, we already had a relationship, so it wasn't, it's just us, so it wasn't that hard to pull off.
Right. So you mentioned, and I'm going to go off on tangents because that's kind of what I do.
No, please.
You mentioned Muni, being a Muni teen or a Muni Kids project. And, okay, I'm a parent. My wife's a parent. We get our kids involved in things. Your mom's an educator.
Sure.
Did she take you and put you in lots of things to give you lots of experiences? Sports, acting, arts, church,
everything.
All of it.
Church, not so much.
Right. That's all right.
And I have my own kind of thoughts on that, and it's probably good to avoid most of that.
That's fine.
But I think very healthy views on church, and I'm very versed. I went to actually a Lutheran grade school and a Lutheran high school. I played CYC ball. I studied theology actually in college, was one of my minors. So very versed, but church, was never a church guy. But mom was not a church.
But mom put you in so many different life.
I think when you're a single mom, and so my mom and dad got divorced when I was about 3, and at that time, I think my natural inclination that I had at that time, especially a lot of energy. I'm sure they got all kinds of acronyms for whatever's going on with me. But at that time, you were just kind of hyperactive or something. And I started school at 2.5 years old. I went to New City. I was the third class ever to go to New City school. Yeah. And so you can only imagine that environment, beanbag chairs and call teachers by the first name. There wasn't a lot of structure. And I probably took as much advantage of that as anybody I know. In fact, there's a notorious story about me in 4 years old, getting pulled out of the gymnasium by 4 teachers because they asked me to stand in a line. It was time to go back to class. And I said, no, you guys go ahead. I'll be right there. I'm going to finish up here. So that says a lot about the person that is now sitting in this chair. But that's always been, standing in a line and all that just wasn't part of the thing. And so I'm the first kid to ever sit in a desk in New City School. In the hallway. There might have been some disruption going on there. And it was a cool experience. And mom, I think when you're a single parent and you have hyperactive kid like that, you got to tire this, pardon my expression, you got to tire this fool out.
You can cuss on our show.
Okay, you got to tire this motherfucker out. Because if not, he's going to wear you to the bone. So I think her strategy was
just sign you up for everything.
Yes, but it didn't. At the exact same time, you know what? When it came to Little League baseball and Little League soccer, I went down to the school and begged whoever to play. I just want to play at that moment. You know, I'm thinking,
right.
Oh man, can I play right with these kids? They're like, you got to go home and ask your mom. I went home, got her, and drug her back down there, and that's how I started playing at St. Anne at 6 years old. You know, so a lot of it was just when you're an only child, you're just going for it with my type of personality. Yeah. So, yeah, but her goal is to keep you active and busy and exposed.
Yeah.
And you did not understand or appreciate how important that was until you're this age, and how much culture and different aspects, art, musicals, music in general, and she has a very broad palette. I have an even broader palette because of that exposure. Right. So I dearly thank her for that.
Yeah, she gave you the world to
The
explore.
world.
And you just took it.
Yeah, just all from, whatever 13 little miles in St. Louis, Missouri. She made you get a taste of all of it.
Right.
So when you bring up a good point when we're talking about exploring, so like from a creative aspect, so one of the things that you and I were talking about yesterday was like, I look at the way that you look at, building a motorcycle as in the same sense that, an artist is going to look at a canvas. When you look at a painter, it's like,
absolutely.
Can you share a little bit about how that process? I mean, I know you mentioned, we're in the living room, we look at it, but can you describe a little bit more of what goes through your head when you're trying to put something together?
Each bike, so one of the things I'm sort of known for in the motorcycle community, primarily older bikes. So these are Harleys primarily. Most folks refer to them as like choppers or bobbers or whatever the niche term is of the day. These are older bikes. Generally 69 and earlier. So today I pulled up on my daily rider's 1947, right? And so that's a bike.
What is that bike called?
That bike is called So What. It's named after a Miles Davis song. So
I had to have you say it.
Yeah,
that's a great song too.
Yeah. I love So What and I love Miles, and Kind of Blues probably my favorite album, or top 5 for sure. At the time I built that bike, and the style of that bike being a bit crusty and patina and very honest in the wear and everything, that wasn't the trend at the time. I was bucking the trend. It was very popular at that time to, just, and still is. You're seeing way more bikes like this now, but at that time, pretty paint jobs and whatever metal flake sparkle thing and super bright chrome and whatever, and that's amazing, especially for shows. And I appreciate that art form as well. I was taking style cues from Japan and other things that were influencing me and getting in me to go a different direction at that time. Nobody cared. So What was kind of a self-deprecating.
It's the second podcast in a row Miles Davis has been mentioned.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Miles
is
is
on the next one.
Miles is extraordinary.
Bitches Brew, last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in Alton, Illinois.
Oh, that's where he was
born. Yeah, and that was part of that decision. Miles would never come back to that motherfucker, but for sure. And he said it many times. But that was one of the things that went in my mind moving back here, and I was gone for so many years.
Right.
I think I left when just after high school, so 17, 18 years old, and I moved back just after the pandemic. So I've been back roughly 5 years now.
Mm-hmm. Were you in California that entire time?
No, of course not. I was I was in Chicago. So in my previous life, I was an investigator, loss renting kind of stuff. I worked for companies like Shoe Carnival here and Lord & Taylor at the Galleria, and then I got hired by Nike, and I was in Chicago, and then the Nike job took me to California. And then at some point when I was with Nike, I got involved in the motorcycles. Mm-hmm. Apparently there's a conflict with motorcycles and going to work. Who knew? I don't fucking know. Is it really that important?
So you were, around 32 at that point?
I was 32 when I got my first bike. So fairly late in life. And it wasn't that like I said, these things are chapters. We'd be here for 8 more hours talking about each chapter. But, after the Marine Corps, it was like mountain biking. And then it was adventure racing on a semi-professional level. I did Eco Challenge in '96, and it was on Discovery Channel. And it was a whole thing. Like that was my whole. I didn't know anything. It was all about going to the climbing gym and going glacier trekking and paddling and just like that dude.
Right.
Hence, I have no knees. But that was my life at that point. Prior to that, soccer from 6 to 36 in a league. Played in England. Was a leading goal scorer in the state of Missouri.
Nice.
My senior year, yeah. Broke Danny O'Keefe's record. So, and that record got blasted. Played in college twice. So I had a pretty conventional St. Louis kind of North County growing up situation.
Everybody
For whatever
played
that
soccer
everybody
in North
did.
County, right?
Right. And then everybody, you played baseball and CYC this. And I was lucky enough to play some select ball. And then, but that started to expand. I started traveling with that. That expanded my world. I went to England at 16, and that definitely set the tone for what was to come.
Wow.
But your question was, I digress. Your question was about creative process and looking at the bikes. The living room thing and the looking at the bikes is really about me finding the right lines. So I don't know about a painter and looking at a canvas and what he's doing as far as what's it going to end up on the canvas. But I imagine there's a relationship between him, his mind, his spirit, and what's to come or what's flowing through him to appear on the page. And it's similar with me and the bikes. In some cases, I'm trying to make what's in my mind. In some cases, the damn bike is telling me that's not what I'm doing. This is what I am, or this is what I want to be. And there's a delicate balance to try to find what I think is cool. Bikes, it may be similar with paint. There's how many primary colors?
Let's say there are 8.
Thank you.
Good answer.
Because I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm a painter.
Roy G. Liv, right? There's however many primary colors. At the end of the day, you guys are all playing with the same paint.
Yeah,
sure.
But then the style is coming in and the mixing and all that is creating something very different. At the end of the day, we're all playing with the same 100 damn parts or whatever it is. The frame and the basic geometry came from the factory. Unless you're, you can change that. You can chopper, you cut it and you change it. There's various things you can do, but we're all kind of playing with the same things. So why does one bike look cool? And, you can give 10 guys the same 100 parts. Only 2 of them bikes will be cool.
Yeah.
Well,
or have some type of thing.
So I'm glad that you mentioned lines because I do figurative drawing. So I like to draw people. One of the things that's extremely important to me is how can I take what's in front of me and turn it into lines?
Wow. Yeah, it's reinterpreting kind of like what you see or taking. And believe me, we're not shy on borrowing and taking reference as most artists are not, Some artists are coming from a purely creative place, but they're saying Jean-Michel and some of these artists are the most influential artists of the 20th century. And Picasso, we can see what Picasso even took from, right? African art in some cases, to establish periods of his style. So I think it's similar with what we do with regard to the bike.
I thought your garage looked like as much an art studio as a garage, or like a combination.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way?
Yeah, I feel like it's a true workspace, and at the same time, it's evolving. I never got
had a really creative feel to it.
Man, thank you for saying that. For me, I only see what in that case, and sometimes in bikes and in everything. And I'm sure you guys are like this as artists. I only see what's not done. I don't see. Some people might see it and think it's cool. It's not. Yeah, it's not done yet. Right. It's not done yet. Fuck. Wait till you see it when I do the thing that's been in my head for fucking 10 years and I haven't done it.
Vision.
I'm real good about starting something and sometimes not.
I think that's every artist.
Yeah.
So
that sounds very familiar.
I have a vision for what I want the garage and the entire property to feel like, not look like, feel like. Visual is an aspect of that, and I'm not there yet, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
You landed in Alton.
Yes.
Very
intentionally.
Yeah. And you've been in the Philippines and Japan and England and lots of places.
Yes.
And I expect you were visually experienced a lot of texture and crackling paint and homemade signage and a lot of homespun, very gritty spaces. Do you think that influences you as far as what product you're putting out there?
100%. There's nothing more influential in my existence really than travel and experience outside of. Man, this was a cool place to grow up, right?
Right.
But man, if you only stayed here, there's a big world out there. I see it, you know, and it's not. This is in no disrespect or any slight or whatever, but I just understand things in a broader context, where I've been lucky or blessed enough to kind of get out there and see other things to have a broader context around everything we experience.
Yeah.
You know, and then at the same time, coming back to a very safe space. St. Louis is about as safe as it can get, as far as very middle mindset, kind of.
You can kind of just
kind of
coast
growing
through.
up.
Yeah, you know what to expect when you're driving down the road. You know the people, you know the mindset.
Yeah.
The Midwest vibe.
More things change, the more they stay the same.
Right.
So it's safe in that regard. I think when we came up, we always said, oh, we're 15 years behind the coast or 10 years behind the coast or something. I'm sure you guys have heard that. And I think even in coming back here, my like personal thing has been like trying to narrow that gap for people coming from behind.
Right.
And I think art is the way, you know.
So just to kind of add to that, so why is it so important to you to honor, you know, the history, the journey of everything? You know, what ties that for you? Because like I feel like everything that you have, just from just like the age of your home, because your home was built in the early 1800s.
1881. Yeah.
To just your appearance, to the bike, there's all this, you know, it's very important to focus on heritage.
Yeah, I don't know that, I guess, I don't know if I'm focused, I guess, I don't know if it's that I'm focused on it or not as much as it is. That's an aesthetic that I just gravitated towards and it became me, or I became it, or maybe it was always inside me. I didn't grow up having much knowledge, or I don't know how to really explain that. Whatever you're seeing or whatever you're perceiving, and the relationship between, say, the home, the bike, myself, the aesthetics, the style, it's just an organic happening. I don't know. I'm not overthinking it or planning it out much. I gravitated. It's a little easier to just come out with dirtier hands. I just a crusty old dude with a crusty old bike and a crusty old home. It just kind of ended up that way. I wasn't always that.
Right.
I was a sharp cat before.
No, I mean, I remember you back in the 90s.
I was gonna say, you're a pretty
definitely
sharp cat.
In the 90s, right?
You're
So
a pretty
you know,
sharp cat right now.
No, just a crusty old dude with a crusty old bike.
Yeah,
We're
but
both
there's
barely
one thing you
making it.
said in an interview that you were giving, or they were talking to you. I can't remember which one it was. You referenced the bike. I think you were talking about this bike that you drove up today. It had a life before you, and it's going to outlive you.
Yeah,
And
all of them.
It seems like it's a lot of the objects maybe you're surrounding yourself with kind of have that longevity, and you're maintaining that longevity, and you're giving it, maintaining that. You're
I've
you're
referred
honoring
to
that
it.
object, and you're
Yeah,
wanting to
absolutely.
move it forward.
I don't know. That could be one of those things with the letters and that.
Right.
But I tend to honor some tangible things that are like not just my own things or my own bike, but like things that are gifted or whatever. I'm maybe a sentimental person, I guess. I have a hard time letting sometimes those physical things go, even if they're not have value or
Right.
important. If somebody gave it to me, I'll remember, oh, that so-and-so gave me that. Then
There's a story there.
there's a story there.
Right.
So my house, even the style of the house, is largely just a bunch of collected crap. And you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised, like, some of that can be kind of a burden. I've tried to, like, karmic cleansing and try to let some of that go.
Minimize it.
No, I understand.
But the aesthetic is coming from just a natural
Yeah.
accumulation of a life.
My art studio is upstairs, and I have things from my grandparents' house.
Yeah.
The old picket fence is mounted, the
That's
gate
sick.
to the, and I
That's
just,
great.
It just love that sentimental connection, and just it inspires me to see the bird houses that they built that were outside on a tree for years, and now it's mounted to my wall.
That's super cool. I think anytime you have a connection with your own people and just anything that inspires you, or having objects that around you that they carry that energy. Similarly, like in the living room, I have in the gangways of the brick buildings in St. Louis, they have those stars.
Yeah.
I have the star off of Grandma and Grandpa's house in Belmar.
That's awesome.
Those are
It
cool.
just sits in the living room.
Right.
And Mom knows, nobody else is, this old rusty star. But yeah, we honor those things in a weird way. And it could just be anything. You ascribe the significance to it, I imagine. You know what I mean? I don't imagine. They're probably up there like, why's he got that damn picket fence? I was hating that fence. But to you have a relationship, it carries that
and
thing.
right by my TV stand at home, I have an oil can from my grandpa's shed.
Right.
I think it's called the Blue Jay Oiler.
Right.
And it
Is
was,
it
and I looked it
this
up.
guy?
Yeah. And I looked it up, and it was manufactured in St. Louis in the 1920s.
Wow.
But that
That's
kind
cool.
of stuff, I don't know. That sounds like that kind of connection is the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that connection.
Yeah, I definitely value all that. I tend to be like in my family, I don't want to say the historian, but I'm the only one who is maybe inclined that way. I guess because of Mom. But I was inclined that way, so I'm the one who has, like, of my generation, who maybe would have the older pictures or know who the old people that are gone. And maybe even in my generation, my cousins may or may not know some of that history, but I'm connected to it in a different way. And I would have tangible physical things that they maybe would not necessarily see the value in or even care. But what do you do with it?
Yeah.
For example, I have an uncle, Bob. Bob played in the Negro Leagues baseball, and he was in the Hall of Fame. I have his ring.
Oh, wow.
I don't think anybody else in our family even remembers Uncle Bob, or what. He was a distant uncle kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what do you do? So I tend to be the guy that ends up with those kind of things, and then be like, what do I do? And I try to figure out how to honor that thing. So
Yeah. Well, that thing could go to the Hall of Fame.
that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
That's the goal.
Take that thing to Kansas City and put it in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I didn't kind of like talk about that. So I had the opportunity to watch Sugar and Spade.
Yes.
That was just a great,
Thank
way
you.
to spend some time. I really thoroughly enjoyed the fact that you're just, you have a story of two best friends, and then the time when it was actually done was in a period where they weren't necessarily welcomed, but they were just so driven to, the motorcycles, and they were just so passionate about it that they became just continuing to be two amazing friends. It was just great to see that story, and then just capturing, because you helped produce that one.
Yes.
Okay, and then it was cool just to see, talking to his, I guess Austin's son.
Yeah.
And
Little
Austin,
Austin,
they were just so spirited, but that was just a really great piece, and I also like the videography from that one too, just the way it was shot. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the first film I think that we ever played around with. It happened same thing, happened kind of organically. Shout out to Mark McGinnis, our director, James Blackman. They came to me wanting to do something. I just happened to know the story of George and Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I said, quite frankly, I think they had different aspirations as far as they wanted to do, like, maybe short content, something cool for, like, Dice Magazine or for whoever. They want to do, the hip, cool thing. And I was like, man, let's tell a real story. Let's do something cool. And so happenstance, timing-wise, the reunion of George and Austin was soon approaching. I think that conversation with us happened only a few weeks prior to us flying to New York and shooting the scenes in New York, which was the beginning of filming for Sugar and Spade. George and Austin were super gracious. I'll never be able to say enough things about Austin. He's gone. We lost Austin during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Austin was a sanitation worker in New York at the time that they cleaned up 9/11, so he was compromised in some way. Austin was a vegetarian since the 70s. Austin walked every morning at 4 a.m. So I don't have much understanding or knowledge as to why Austin is no longer here with us. And that I talked to Austin the Tuesday before he passed, and he was already in the hospital, and it was COVID
Yeah.
that got him. So, we'll never be able to really fully understand it. I know it's not meant for my understanding. It's meant for my acceptance, and that's full. But that experience of shooting that film and those two clowns, their characters, oh my God.
So
and anytime you're with Spade George, y'all don't know this fool, but God bless George. George is like Keith Richards. He'll be here forever. It'll be him and Keith.
So I guess that would bring up one of my next things I wanted to bring up. When you guys shot The Passenger, that was all done during the pandemic.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that was just a chaotic mess, people fighting over toilet paper, and you guys are making a movie.
Yep.
Like, how did that all come into play? I mean,
Seemed reasonable.
I was like, that's a great idea.
How it came to be, I'm really not sure, because I wasn't involved in the genesis of that one. That one, the credit belongs to Gentry, Dayton, and Jeff, our director.
Yeah.
Brian Wheaton. They had got off on some plan of shooting something, and it sounds like it was Gentry and Jeff's idea.
That's what I made of
They
it.
started kind of getting with Brian and talking about who would be involved, and our original plan was much grander than what you see there. Our original plan was to leave from Chicago in May. We wound up shooting for a couple weeks in Oregon in November. So there were a lot of challenges I think, for them, not only to just get budget and just timing to align for us to do the thing, and it got so deep into the end of the year. Would weather allow us to pull it off, especially in Oregon and Pacific Northwest? It really cooperated with us, and I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it, but cinematography, I think, just beautiful. In fact, the guy that shot it reached out to me yesterday for some Gogh-Getters classes. Interesting. Keith Lehman, so shout out to Keith. Passenger came about. Gentry lost a friend to suicide.
Okay.
I lost a friend as well in 2018.
And then you just recently, Brian passed, correct?
Brian passed.
Yes.
So Brian was my closest friend, one of my closest friends. I have a lot of best friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird to say it like that, but those people out there know who they are, and they're my best friend. And then they're just different aspects of my life or different whatever. But best friends for me is almost like brothers. Mm-hmm. Brian is one of the few people I talk to every day. And so, all the most inappropriate memes, all the most inappropriate words, and fought like brothers.
Yeah.
And but we lost Brian to a motorcycle accident, unfortunately, and this has been trying. This is a tough one, and I've had a bunch of tough ones. So this is equally tough in a different way. Brian has two beautiful daughters, and that's been the coolest thing that's come out of this situation. I don't have any kids, and now I got two de facto beautiful daughters that
great.
I talk to and try to take care of anytime they need me. So I talked to both of them in the past 24 hours, so that's good. And so our relationship is strong, and I'm just there to kind of, I'm not there to be their dad by any means, but I'm there to kind of give support where their dad would have wanted me to. So
That's wonderful.
yeah.
That's wonderful. I'm going to back up. Like, how did you get involved in filmmaking? Okay. But it's not that kind of story.
It's not a short answer, but I'll try to keep it somewhat reasonable. How did you get involved in filmmaking? Man, I went to that New City school.
Yeah.
Right, 3rd grade, and I remember the day Anthony Eaton came in there talking about some damn film, and he was saying shit that you couldn't even get your mind wrapped around what he's kind of saying, because this fool's talking about lasers. And so you couldn't really, at 9 years old, you couldn't really put it together. So Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
I remember that morning he came in talking about the film. So film was always a big part of, I think when you're an only kid and you're growing up in the 70s, you got a TV and you're just, it's probably like the people in the pads now, the kids in the pads, and then maybe that's what's entertaining them. I remember watching a lot of films. An example, John Wayne, The Cowboys. Very influential.
Great movie.
So if you know the premise of that movie, he's trying to move his cattle, but all the men are either away at war, or they died, or I don't know what their deal is. Mm-hmm. So he's got to hire all these boys to move his cattle to market. I think I probably saw that movie, I was about 9 years old. Within 2 years, I was working on a horse ranch. I just saw it, and visually it spoke to me, and I said, I'm supposed to be a cowboy. Now, I was a cowboy in Potosi, Missouri, at Camp Lakewood at Hagen's Horses from the time I was 12 years old till I was 17 years old. And my minor in college, second college, was equestrian studies. And I thought I was going to be a cowboy. I thought that was going to be my life at that time. So the question about film is, it really started out by seeing films and knowing the impact that they have to make you move towards something. No different than with the Eco Challenge, seeing that, oh my God, that's what I got to do, or the bikes and seeing things and moving towards that. Something opened up around the time we did Sugar and Spade. There was an article I read in a particular female, her name is Eve Crane. Eve was a photographer, and her claim to fame was her husband was like kind of the original Johnny Carson type dude. His name was Les Crane. He must have had a syndicated TV and radio show in New York kind of guy. Eve grew up in Oregon and had moved to the Bay Area and met this guy and became his wife. And she became like a New York socialite. Reuters or somebody had given Eve a camera. And she's just shooting behind the scenes. People come through the hallway. She told me so I met Eve eventually. When I was still working for Nike, I would travel up to Oregon. She was living in Oregon at the time, so I actually eventually met her. So her claim to fame was she was embedded in the 60s with both the Hells Angels and the Black Panthers. She had a relationship with both. And so she was able to shoot these very intimate, proximate photographs that were pretty inspiring. So if you're in the motorcycle world, all this cool HA kind of cool, just very historic photographs, riding through San Francisco, all that. That, if you're in a chopper, that's just part of the lore and just, ooh, look at the cool bike. If you're black, growing up in the 70s and 80s and understanding the role of the Black Panthers and the misunderstood role of Black Panthers, that's exciting to see that imagery, especially if it's whatever. She happened to be in both of these camps, so I was fascinated by this. My first attempt to do a film or want to do something was just riffing around wanting to do something on Eve Crane.
Yeah.
Now that never came to be, and it's not necessarily over, but through the imagery and kind of like playing around with like a treatment and playing around with like, and not only did I play around with the idea of doing a documentary, I flirted around with the idea of like trying to do a feature and who would play it. And like, it's like window shopping, I guess. It's daydreaming, which is creative, and it's creating. So the first film is just here. It's not necessarily, by the way, there's not the only one. So that process led me to, it was just the genesis of like, no, I want to do something. I think when those guys came in and said, hey, we want to, this guy's got a camera, he knows he's a director, and we want to do something, that was my opportunity to say, I know a story. And that followed through. Brian was the one who got us the budget. So
That's awesome.
What so when we talked about the passengers, so you and Gentry are friends, long-standing friends?
Long friends, yeah.
Yeah. I kind of gathered that was going to be the case. So how did you get sucked into that project? I mean,
Jeff Elstone, the director, called me and he said, hey man, we want you to be part of this thing, and then he started kind of breaking down the script, all 2 pages of it. And his idea, I don't even know to this day what their idea was, but I think what the idea was, they wanted my character to be some type of shamanic situation
shaman
foil.
for this.
I don't know what the word is. Versus Gentry's protagonist character, I guess. I'm the Tonto, I guess. The film really happened in the editing, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
I got a better sense of what maybe was what it's supposed to be. It still feels very art house and loose to me. We were lucky enough to show the thing all over, just like Sugar and Spade.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, these films are basically just going around in the motorcycle world, kind of. A little bit outside. We filmed it New York, something deal. Not Tribeca, but some other deal. Bunch of film festivals. Lisbon Motorcycle Film Festival has shown my films twice.
So it was in Japan?
Japan twice.
Then it was in Portland.
It was in Portland, Washington State, all over for that. I mean, Sugar and Spade, we went to Biarritz, France. We went to Morocco. We went to Iceland. Man, that was cool. Just to go around the earth with your art.
Right.
Here's one I'll tell you guys. This is important. I usually, art, right? And then sometimes you're making some sacrifices. And in my lifestyle, hey, man, this shit don't come with a 401k. And, y'all have heard the term starving artist. I'm assuming y'all might know what it means. It can be feast or famine. But at the time we were shooting and kind of like going around and screening Sugar and Spade, man, things were really, really tight. I think when we went to Africa, I had $100 to my name. Wow. And the faith or the wherewithal to kind of like get on that plane, just it'll be all right.
Yeah.
It'll work itself out. That's a very powerful, and that's sad to say. At the same time, it's one of the things I'm most proud of. It's just that, no matter how whatever it gets or has gotten in the past, finding a way or having faith and just kind of walking through that process the same and not regretting it at all. So that was cool.
I wrote down true to your process.
Yes.
And I think that's great advice for any artist. Stay true to your process.
Yeah, and it takes time and maturity, and you got to go through some things maybe to get to your process. I mean, just living is part of the process.
Yeah.
Just surviving is part of the fucking process. It's hard enough. I noticed Lauryn Hill didn't write no other really significant, but she's lived some life.
Right.
Amy Winehouse, No Doubt's albums went increasingly commercial as opposed to, say, the first thing, right? Because those things are coming from very personal spaces, and you're in a very vulnerable situation in creating. That's I think.
That's the reason.
I mean, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
That's where the great artists created.
Right.
The Gogh-Getters. Van Gogh didn't sell a single painting when he was alive, maybe one. And any of the paintings that were being bought by his brother, unbeknownst to him.
Right.
Right? And so, and now he's one of the greatest artists. I mean, he's master. So, I don't know. By the way, have y'all seen Loving Vincent? Has anyone seen Loving Vincent?
No.
Which one is that? That's not the one with, what's the actor?
William Dafoe.
The
William
Dafoe
Dafoe. No,
movie was
Dafoe
really
movie.
good.
No, there's
But-
a film.
Yeah.
I saw it on a plane once, and I'm obsessed with it. It's called You're Loving Vincent. They got 1,000 artists to paint in the style of Vincent van Gogh and animated his story. So it's a narrative. And they play around with this idea. Some people, the traditional historic narrative is that he supposedly killed himself. There's other narrative out there that's not necessarily supported or unsupported, but it's plausible, that feels maybe more like what maybe that's not what happened.
Right.
And that he was shot accidentally.
That's kind of what they,
Yeah.
in the Dafoe film too.
Yeah. So it's called You're Loving Vincent, but you're looking at this this animation in his art, in his hand. It's insane. It's hard to get into at first, but you guys obviously love Van Gogh. It might be easy. For me, it was hard. Like, hey man, I'm not understanding what's going on. And then finally, I think I had to watch it on the plane coming back, and I love that film. Yeah, it's cool.
I saw a Basquiat on your wall.
Yes.
Love
Absolutely.
that guy.
Yeah, Jean-Michel is, you know, Jean-Michel is certainly an inspiration point for me. Young black cat growing up when he did, doing what he did, just his attitude and his approach. You know, it's weird to be like, well, one of my heroes died from a heroin overdose or something, and that's not something I aspire to. But yeah, everybody's struggling with something, I imagine, and so. But it doesn't take away from his brilliance or even the nature of how he reinterpreted art, which was unique, and I feel like in some ways it's regarded as wholly his hand, but you can see where he was taking bits and pieces and figuring it out.
Right.
He's my favorite artist.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite artists for sure. I also have huge affinity for Frida Kahlo.
Yes.
That's from another place, though. That's like a personal, like I suffer a lot of chronic pain, so I understand. And so I identify with Frida on that level, and just very cool. I think when I don't know if it was grade school or high school or whenever, but when you go to field trip to the art museum, I got tripped out by that.
I still do.
I got tripped out by that.
Yeah.
I'm always impressed when I go there.
And if I had to be fully just like transparent and fair, I think the art was cool, but I think as like a young high schooler, maybe I was younger when I probably first went there, but then as a high schooler, you're thinking, oh man, this is a neat way. I'm thinking this is a neat way to like impress a chick. If I can go in here and take this chick and I can say 7 smart things,
Right.
I'm thinking good. It sounds like hustle, but at the same time, I could speak to Degas and Gauguin, and I could say the shit and point to it, and it would be right.
Right.
But that's about all I was doing. Probably still all I'm doing. But I don't. It means something different now.
Yeah.
And it's horrible to think that that's what I was doing. But I'm glad I did that.
It served a purpose. It helped tell a story. It helped to connect with somebody.
Yeah.
Still to this day, when I walk around the corner and see those 3 Van Gogh, I just want to touch them. You know, you just want to have your hands on the same canvas that guy had.
I got to touch a Basquiat one time.
You touched it?
I touched it in
Where were you?
Antwerp. I was in Antwerp, and a really good friend of ours, bike guy. So I didn't really cover it, but the epicenter of the universe for us is these damn stupid bikes. You'd be surprised what you can't touch because everybody and their mother's on an old chopper. This guy just happened to be an old chop, and he was the assistant curator of this museum in Antwerp. I don't even remember the name of the museum. And we were supposed to be riding from Antwerp to Wales that day, and it rained. So we said, well, let's go to the museum and see so-and-so. And so we went in there, and he had a Jean-Michel. It was in the back. It wasn't even hanging. It was just in the back in a tray or whatever, and he pulled it out. And he let me.
You got to touch it.
Got to touch it.
Don't tell it. We won't tell anybody.
You just go like, boop.
It was cool. That was it was cool to just be that close and proximate. I couldn't even tell you what painting. I couldn't off the top of my head tell you what painting it was or whatever. I've got photos, but yeah, that was a cool moment.
So what other stuff, do you have any other projects that you're working on right now that you can share a little bit with our 2 listeners?
There's one project. I don't know if I'm supposed to mention it or not.
Yeah, don't get in trouble.
I won't get in trouble, but
I'm going to drop names or anything.
I'm working on a pretty cool bike right now, Panhead. It's one of my first full-fendered bikes, so like a more traditional, almost like stock-looking bike, but then a lot of the elements are slightly changed, and so it's going to be neat. But for a pretty recognizable country star right now.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
He's out there. He's really well known. He's on his ascendant, and he's doing really well. He just won a Grammy.
Nice.
So that's cool. I'm excited about that, and so I have to get this. I got to get this thing done sooner rather than later, maybe by the end of June.
So when you were talking about the build of the bike, and you made a comment that I thought was really neat. How you're building the bike, you don't build bikes for other people. You build bikes for yourself.
Yeah.
How much truth does that hold when you are building something for someone else?
There's been some specific incidents where I've done commissions. Generally, I find that commission work is not as gratifying and often interrupts your process. It doesn't allow you to just do your thing and be in your process and create. And there's time and money, there's just all these things and all these things on top of it. And that's not a fun place to be. That's why I say I never did this for a living or for a job. I just do it because I enjoy it and I love it, and it's an expression. And I guess, maybe that's my medium. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Would you say the same thing happened? Because you built a motorcycle for an actor.
I did.
And was that...
That was not great. No, it was great. It was great. No,
I think that photo.
I built motorcycles for a couple of folks. So I built a bike, and there's a misconception. Momoa's bought up so many bikes, right? Jason is gracious, and he's just a true enthusiast on motorcycles. This dude logs as many miles when he with his crazy schedule. He logs as many miles as the rest of us. He just happened to have means, and so then he can go pretty deep into his passion. Right. But he's very passionate about that, his guitars, his music, everything Jason touches, he's passionate about. And so I built a bike. Jason's been after my personal bike for a while. He's called me on my birthday. You selling your baby yet? I was like, bro, did you hear what you just said? Yeah. And there's a little truth to this whole story, but we won't go too far into it. But yeah, I think he has an affinity, and he has really good taste and style, and he knows what he likes, and when he likes it, he's willing, to try to get it. In this case, that particular bike wasn't for sale, but this other bike I had, which was kind of the twin sister to this bike, it happened to be a chrome tank knucklehead, and I just finished it, and so Jason bought that one.
I feel like I've seen it in photos.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. They look very similar but slightly different. Then there was a bike I built for Kiefer Sutherland.
That's that dark gray one?
It's actually, it's like can read gray in photos. It's actually kind of a green color. Okay. It's really neat. Yeah, very cool. Shout out to Harpoon, who did that, and it's got Murano Pearl in it. Yeah, that was quite the experience. So that was a commission build, and commissions can be tough. You got a customer who has considerations and things and styles and ideas of their own that may or may not be where you are creatively or what you're trying to express.
Right.
And so it's smart to just build what you build and paint what you paint or create what you create, and then let your audience find you. They want it for you. And it's rare to get that person who's wanting to do a commission that, hey, I just want something of yours to whatever, and having that faith and trust.
That's very rare.
It's very rare. I don't understand why, because they're largely looking at work that you've done in the past, or they like that aspect of what you do, but maybe not the other thing. And I don't know. They think what they think, and they just have a different maybe vision.
Yeah.
So commissions are tricky.
Yeah, I was just drawn to that comment because it was like, I feel like if you weren't truly building it for yourself, then your personality is not 100% in the final product.
Right. I mean, again, we're taking our inspirations and some of our style cues from so many different places, and I'm open. It's not that I'm not open to collaboration. For sure, I am. There's a couple artists I'd love to collaborate with, even in the bike world. But just where someone is in their knowledge base versus where you are maybe in yours can sometimes lead to some friction around the build.
That's cool. Well, that kind of is a nice segue into a question I like to ask everybody.
Which is?
It's called, what's your dream hang?
Dream hang?
Like, who Like if you were to, if I were to ask a painter, where would you like to hang your art, or who would you like to hang your art with? But you just mentioned there's people that you would love to build a bike for, or maybe make a movie with. Like, who is that, or what is that? What is that aspirational dream? I'd love to do this thing with this.
I don't know that there's a singular kind of aspirational kind of dream or goal, but there's a few things. In the bike world specifically?
Yeah, whatever.
There's these brothers in New York that are cool, Sam and Shaka. They have a brand called Art Comes First. It's a fashion brand.
Yeah.
They're just cool and got good vibes, and they're global, and just, I don't know, they just got rad style. We've discussed doing something. We haven't figured out what it looks like. We haven't figured out how we can blend them. So I think what it looks like is, like, I probably do what I do in the bike world and add some elements of what they're doing incorporated in the bike.
Right.
And then in their world, they create like capsule around it, maybe fashion capsule around that. That feels cool. And maybe it's their interpretation of like a motorcycle jacket or a short coat or whatever. You know, they kind of come, they're African, but probably from London. And then their take is like, or spend time in London, I should say. Right. And they live in New York now. They know what mods versus the rockers and that kind of cool shit is, and whatever their spin on that would be. So it would be cool to do something with Art Comes First, Tremaine Emery, Denim Tears. These brothers are just inspirational to me. Arthur Jaffa would be cool. I've never met Arthur, but I've seen motorcycle parts and different things in some of his displays and work. I've always been curious about, man, he's got a wishbone frame sitting there. I wonder, damn, I wish he'd let me use that wishbone frame. Maybe we could do something, right. You know? And as far as the work that I've done, where would I like it to end up? I have no idea. I don't, you know, that's just, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say, the Harley Davidson Museum or whatever, and I have a relationship with them and I love them, but that's not.
Because you did a commercial with them, like with their 2024.
Done a bunch of commercials with them, but I did model year 24 for sure. I've done a bunch of shoots.
How that worked out? Because I mean, like, what was the process working with them for that 2024? Because that was the release for all the motorcycles for that year.
Yes. So I've worked, unbeknownst to folks, I've worked with Harley for, I couldn't even say 15, 20 years. It's been a long time. I mean, in some capacity. Yeah. So I don't know if they consider it like an ambassador. There's no definition, because sometimes I'm doing things like when they released the 500 and the 750s, I was keeping them at the house in my garage, and we shot like a little campaign. I don't think anybody knows that, but we shot like a little campaign for that. And I've been on many a Harley shoot for model years, this, that, and the other. The 24 model shoot was Gentry and I think they were just hot on us just because Passenger had been released and whatever, and they featured us. There's a commercial out right now. I'm in the commercial, but it's the back of my head, so you have to see the dreads. I forget the name of it right now, but it's the one that's current, and that's actually from the 24 shoot. Harley's unique in that, their leadership tends to turn over quite a bit. Every 3 or 4 years, it turns over. I've been lucky enough to have folks over there for a long period of time and having some visibility in this community that I've had a good working relationship with them regardless of who's been at the helm. So hopefully that continues.
I would imagine, because the Harley brand isn't changing, the people are changing. The brand is about freedom and the outsider and embracing that. And so I think that you really kind of, you capture that vibe, and then you capture that really well.
Thank you.
Why would they want to let go of that? I mean,
I think just like anything else, anytime you get the new CEO or the new people come in, they want to work with the people that they're comfortable with, and they have a different vision, and they want to establish their own situation over whatever was used before. Harley's in a really unique situation, in my opinion, in that they struggle with their own soul, so to speak. And then they have to, you got to realize they got to satisfy two or three different things. One, the thing that I do is very niche. Let's just be clear. I'm not the consumer. I'm really not. I'm maybe the good brand story. Yeah. I'm a cool heritage story, or a cool a cultural story or personal color story, whatever angle they want to approach, that works well to say, oh, look, they have cool guy or whatever you want to say. But the consumer is probably very different who's going into a dealership, and them appeasing those dealerships has a certain grip. Yeah. It's probably not dissimilar to our politics.
Right.
Those people have to appease a certain thing, and so consequently, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I love the product, and I've ridden newer bikes. It's not that I only ride old bikes. They've been very gracious about loaning us bikes whenever we go on trips and stuff like that. So, super cool.
Oh, that's real cool. I really think I want to ask a little bit more about the passenger, and just with, it's like the weather was changing.
Yeah.
I'm like, there was a picture of you guys pushing a motorcycle because you were having bike issues.
Yeah.
I did read that you guys were shooting out of the back of a truck. It's snowing. I mean, was there anything like just downright sketchy that you're just like how did we get here? Like what's happening?
Yeah, nothing sketchy per se, but yeah, the weather was changing on us rapidly, so some really cold temperatures. There's a scene that we're riding through the snow that's just epic looking. The snowflakes were just huge but everybody thinks, oh man, was that crazy? Was it slippery? No, it was actually super crunchy because it had just snowed. And so the traction was there and that was all good. And we had not actually ridden that far. I think in that scene we rode less than a quarter of a mile. You know, we had gone out and we were doing some shooting and it started snowing like that. And we started heading back to that lodge. And they captured all that footage just heading back to the lodge. The colder scene is when we're standing out on the lake. That scene alone was 2 hours or more. I mean, I'm standing out there freezing on that dock, and Gentry's going across the land bridge or whatever. So that was cold. Man, it was just a fun thing to shoot. I mean, we didn't have the reason for pushing the bike. The first day, first location. First of all, we went the wrong way because idiots don't know north from south. Hello, there's an ocean. Keep that one. Whatever. I knew it. I didn't understand why they didn't know it. Right. How do you? The damn thing's not on our right side. Right. That alone should be. But whatever. Once we got sorted and we're headed the right direction, the very first scene or location that we went to and shot is when we run out. I run out onto the beach and Gentry's seeing her as an apparition coming towards him.
Right.
And I come and interrupt this thing. When I got back on the bike and kicked it over, I sheared the kicker off. I sheared the kicker off the first day. Oh. Our first location. So the entire rest of the movie, if you pay attention, there's no kicker. I had to bump start it the whole time. Oh, so the only thing that was actually sketchy is when we, at the very last scenes we shot were on the salt flats. Of note, it had snowed, and so the only dry patches where tires were. So I had to stay in a tire patch and try to push the bike and try to bump start it on something as flat as, you know, there's a hill. So it's hard to do that, but we were able to do that. I found out later, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the story of the fastest woman on four wheels.
No.
Jessie Combs. Jessie was a friend of mine. She was a land speed racer. She drove a rocket car.
I know that story.
Yeah, she drives a car. It's a fucking jet airplane.
Right.
So she was vying for the world record in that, 400 and something odd miles per hour. Don't quote me because I don't know it off the top of my head. She broke that record and she was going to beat her own record. She did beat it, and she had complications on deceleration with her braking system. And unfortunately, she passed away. That was the same salt flat that we shot the passenger on. Okay. I didn't know that at the time until the next morning. So that was a trip.
That was just within like the past 3 or 4 years?
Love to Jessie, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Wow.
Yeah, well, no, it's been more than that now because we shot passenger, you know, it's been a minute. It's been a good minute. Yeah, we have that pandemic time is weird now.
Yeah.
It gets compressed or it gets some. I want to say that was probably like 7 years ago.
Okay. Huh. Well, I mean, I that's really all I have. I just wanted to take an opportunity.
Do you have a motorcycle in your living room? A frame?
I do. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I always have a motorcycle in the living room. Generally a project. Generally something I'm working on in the future. And it's just like chopper dress up or you're just,
It's handy
mocking
to have
it up
right
to
there,
try to get some ideas and kind of start to look at those lines, and maybe you're changing aspects. That particular bike that's in the living room right now is a bike I intend to have in the future and in probably Los Angeles. And it's just a commuter. It's not my normal style of bike at all. It's kind
I thought it was great decor.
Thank you. Yeah, it works out. The house is funny. I have one living room set up to like intentionally freak out the squares and your nephews and nieces. So they come over and there's all this, so much. And it's just just to freak people out a little bit. And it's just to kind of test the waters on where they're at.
Right.
And the other one is just relaxed on the eyes and just kind of peaceful. After that jarring, and it's not that jarring, but there's some stuff in there
There's a lot to look at.
There's a lot to look at, but
awesome.
that's by design.
That's incredible.
And the other one's easy on the eyes and just kind of lets you settle into the house. So it's
You
fun.
need to stop by. You've
Come
invited
by.
me a couple times.
Yeah, got to come through. Bring that in Porsche. Come on.
Oh, yeah. I'll bring the car over.
Bring that car over. Let's go to River Road. That'd be fun.
Yeah. No, you know what? Absolutely. We'll go for a ride in the car.
That's a good idea.
We didn't even talk cars. I thought y'all were going to talk cars and stuff. I didn't hear any of that.
We were more interested in you and what your art was.
I ain't got no car.
Oh, but you got the El Camino.
79,
You do have an El Camino.
What's that?
Do you have an El Camino?
79 El Camino. I've had that car. I'm the third owner and the fifth owner. Right.
How does that work?
Well, you blow up the motor. The original motor was like a 305.
Yeah.
And then you repair it with a 350. But in the interim, you get like a Range Rover because you're obsessed with classic Range Rovers. But they kick really hard. You ever been kicked in the nuts really hard? When they kick you so hard. So I've owned two or three. Can't wait to hit the
What
lottery
year?
and get another one.
What years are the
I had
Range Rovers?
92, 94, and 2006.
Okay.
Who was owner 4 of the El Camino?
Jeff Holt. Shout out to Jeff Holt. I sold it to Jeff Holt, formerly of... He's a V-Twin Visionary now. I don't know what magazine or whatever he was doing before. I sold to my good buddy Jeff.
And you got it back.
And Jeff had it, and I'd already fixed it, and he drove away in it. I had pictures of Jeff driving away in the damn El Camino, and I had the Range Rover. And that damn Range Rover kicked me so hard. The head gaskets went, and I fixed them. Do you know 2-3 weeks later they went again? I could have died. I had to sell the damn car to the mechanic kind of thing.
Oh, man.
My brother has one right now that's giving him a lot of complications.
Yeah, is it a classic one?
No.
Oh, no.
But I'm like,
Don't do it.
So this happens, and I think I saw on Instagram or something silly. Jeff had traded my car for a bike. I was like,
man.
"You traded my car?" I was like, "Man, do you think that dude would give it back to me?" He's like, "He just picked it up. He doesn't have any money in it. I just traded." So I called the guy. And I got it back. That's awesome. We've been together 16 years, I think, or more.
That's hilarious.
that's
There's a
great.
video of me in 2010, so maybe more than that. We've been together 17 years or more.
That's an incredible car.
The Gogh-Getters need an El Camino.
Oh, yeah.
I've
You
shot.
tricked
I
us
have
for
one
that?
for sale. No, I'm just kidding.
I want to be the eighth owner.
I keep looking at those. I've wanted one for a very, very long
Really?
time. Yeah.
They're popular. The GNXs are super popular. The Grand Nationals and all that are super
Yeah.
popular right now because of Kendrick. Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting in the Porsche world. I've been cool. Have you ever been to that Lufta Cult, the air cooled show?
Yes.
Insane. Where did you go?
Well, so I went to the first one.
Really?
But it wasn't called Luftgekult at that point in time.
Okay.
It was Luftrahen.
Okay.
It was in Texas.
Right.
So it was in Houston.
Okay.
And it was in, like, they have the industrial art district.
Mm-hmm.
And they had all the cars inside this big ass warehouse
That's what's
building.
up.
And then they were the cars were flanked by artwork on the walls, and that was kind of recognized as the first
Yeah.
event.
That's cool.
I didn't know anything about it, and my friend was into this culture. So, Porsche culture, and he took me to the first. Well, this I don't know if it was 2, 3, or whichever one, but I went to the one at 22nd Street Pier, maybe I think it's called. So in Long Beach, man. And then I just realized, oh man, this is the same nerd, different object. I mean, it's the same. Whether you're in the sneakers or you're in the art or you're in the, all these different subcultures are essentially the same nerd, different deal.
I did love the cult.
Yeah, it was cool.
When they had it in Indianapolis during the pandemic.
Oh man.
And that was a really good time because they actually had the show in. Like they have the old Coca-Cola bottling factory.
Yeah.
So they've kind of repurposed that the same way like we have the foundry.
Yeah.
And so they made it into a very interactive social space, but then they had all the cars just
they just
all over
run
the
these
property.
cars throughout. It's just cool. And even if you're not into it, it's cool to go and just, I don't know, there's just a vibe. And they always do it in some, they started doing it at Universal Studios, I heard. I have not been to that, but I don't know what the review. And some people dig it, some people don't dig it. I went to it one time at Gogh Lumber, and a bunch of like high-end Porsches at a lumber yard.
Right.
It was dope. It was cool. It was actually neat and just unexpected and just. I mean, you're there for the cars, and it's just pretty. If you've never been, I'd recommend it. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to come back somewhere close by where I could, just maybe go drive to it because that would be a good thing to do.
I know a couple of dudes in the Porsche world of renown. Magnus Walker is a good friend. Rod Emery is a builder, and he builds really high-end cars. And then Matt Hummel.
Yeah.
Drives this old beat-up thing called Don.
He just got another car.
I believe it. Matt has a car that's another artist I would love to trade or collaborate with. It's like, Matt and I have always discussed, like, me building him a bike and trading for this 50,
he's
80s
got
guy.
a 350. He's got a couple 356s.
356s.
And then he just acquired, I believe, a 911T.
Yes.
It seemed to be like, I don't want to call it a barn find, but it was like,
he's getting
the guy's
lucky.
wife, I guess, sold off his car. Maybe someone had passed in the family or was not intending to. But I'm like, it's a beautiful maroon car. I was like, I've seen multiple pictures that he's posted. Yeah.
There's not too much of that around here. I've seen a couple of 356s. I took them to meet some folks here in St. Louis over near Tower Grove that had a beautiful 356 they've had in their family for a long time.
Yeah.
Took Matt by there. He was in St. Louis just for like a day, and they were stoked to meet him.
So Reed Van, he's over in Rock Hill.
Yes, I've seen it.
He's got a red one.
Really?
Yeah.
I've probably seen it sitting out there.
Yeah, because he's had a couple cars that he actually had inside the shop, and they were all covered with blankets, had stuff covered them, but I'm like, you could just tell by the wheels. I'm like, and the body shape, the lines of what they were. I'm just like, why are these just sitting here? I'm like, don't hide these.
Yeah. All that to say, anybody out there that wants to get rid of their old 356 or old motorcycle parts,
call Will.
Come find me. Word is just a word. That's funny.
How'd you get involved with Gogh-Getters? Because I learned about them like early on, and I picked up a couple IPers just because I kind of liked their story. Mm-hmm. Then next thing I know, you pop up in some of the advertisements.
Yeah, I was Gogh-Getters' #1 ambassador for quite a few years there. I think we had like a 7-year run. I'm not sure. Just like anything else, so I'd worked with a lot of different brands. Gogh-Getters is just more recent, but I'd worked with Brixton. I'd worked with Stance Socks for a long time. I was one of the first ambassadors for Stance. In fact, I was in one of the first shoots. It's so old. And this is before, Michael Jordan, Rihanna, and whoever else they put on there, major folks. It was just like a bunch of skate kids and myself and surfers and whatnot. I think that when those companies are trying to have some type of crossover appeal and they're wanting to have a broader reach, they're probably let's just say what it is. I think when they're trying to infuse diversity into some of their things, and I'm glad that it's a lot of the companies I work with feel like that's important, so that it is representative of everybody that they hope to reach. I've been blessed enough to kind of be involved, and so one thing begat another. In other words, because I worked with Stance, I probably worked with Brixton. Because I worked with Brixton, you kind of get a little bit of name just in those circles because it's the same people behind the scenes that are dealing with influencers or models or just whatever you want to call it. I mean, their support is huge. I mean, that's, as an artist, you got to realize that's how working with brands and co-producing. So I co-produced 90% of those shoots you saw. Okay. And I also casted a lot of the Caddis shoots. So if you see Susanna Melvoin rather, or if you see Butch Walker or any of those people, that's Wil making a phone call that Caddis can't make for themselves. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did for Caddis for many years. No, yeah, there's talk of getting the band back together. We'll see.
I thought that was kind of cool. That like I liked how they advertise, like how you guys put the advertisements together to kind of focus more on the lifestyle that the people live.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that happened very organically, and that was kind of the approach we were taking at those times. I was co-producing on some of those shoots.
Do wear mine as well.
Yeah.
I was like, I am also a user.
Yeah, it was a cool time. It was a cool period of time. I met a bunch of cool people. We went to a bunch of cool locations. We shot on North Shore of Hawaii, and one night I ended up at the the WSL World Surf League.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I ended up at their party, their year-end, like their ESPYs or whatever, their year-end closing party, and they're giving the awards to the best surfer and all this. I ended up in this room, and it's Kelly Slater, and I know some of these folks from previous life, but yeah, that was kind of weird. I was like, what am I doing in this room? This is so weird. But it's very much a Wil thing. Like, you would be in this room. Weird. How would you? I found it. I chuckled. I thought it was funny.
So what's next?
What is next? I don't know. I don't know what's next. I got to finish this damn bike.
I mean, I know you mentioned with Prism that, you have some other movie projects going on. You say, is there anything you can kind of speak to? I really also dug the Cheetah piece that you worked with.
Yeah, Cheetah was one where I was just fooling around. It was my first opportunity to kind of do something with a brand. I've also done stuff with Levi's, but the Cheetah thing was just like playing with some ideas that were in my head and trying to create this mood. And I got to work with my buddy, my good friend and collaborator, Rocco DeLuca, who did the music for it. Rocco also did the score for Sugar and Spade. Yeah, I dug that. There's a film that I've been discussing with an artist. So one of my goals is to maybe do a film outside of the motorcycle world, to break myself outside of motorcycle-specific content. Nice. And the film that has been pitched, and in fact, I'll tell this, and this would be a good closing story maybe. I had pitched my DP came to me about an artist that he was familiar with. I wasn't familiar with this artist. Mm-hmm. His name is Mark Maggiore. I don't know if you guys know Mark's work. Mark is the preeminent Western artist of our time. Cowboys and Indian motif, primarily cowboys. And Mark's real, like, textural, it's hyper-realism, so these things look like photographs. Mm-hmm. And his real strong hand is he just does clouds amazingly. They're called Maggiore clouds.
I like clouds.
We had talked, my DP came to me and wanted to engage Mark about a film. And Wil, can you touch him? Can you reach this guy? Yeah, I can touch anybody, but let's see. So it took me all of a day to figure out how to get a hold of the guy. And I hit him. He just happened to, just when I was still living in LA, I was at the shop that I owned at that time in Silver Lake, or in Los Feliz, and I called Mark. And he said, yeah, man, I'm around the corner. He's a French guy. So he shows up. He pulls up in a 68 Cutlass, black and chrome. Malibu or Cutlass, black and chrome.
Right.
And he got out of the car, said 79 El Camino, black and chrome. And that was it. So we sat down in the chairs in the office, and I'm not good at elevator pitches and trying to sell you on a thing. And I said, my DP reached out to me, and he said that he really wanted to do a project on you. And I said, I got to be honest, I wasn't familiar with the work, but I did my homework, and this is really, really impressive. And I started asking him the same thing, how about his process and blah, blah, blah. He actually goes out and shoots these people for photography with photograph, and then he goes back and paints from his photographs. But full dress, full regalia, and the cowboy hat and the whole deal. It's really cool. And basically what I told him, I said, I don't do elevator pitch and I don't this, that, and the other. But the way I see it, the Sistine Chapel, a man commissioned another man to paint his ceiling. It's what you do with the canvas. It's what you do with the ceiling. Can you paint something on that scale with that type of realism? And then I was engaging him with Alan's Boots and Luke Casey and there was a whole plan for him to do a mural down in Austin, Texas. And we got the budget, which is the hardest thing to do. We had Luke Casey, we had Stetson and Wrangler and Alan's Boots put up some budget, and he was going to do a mural down there. And the day we were supposed to start shooting, 3/26/2020.
Wow.
The week into the pandemic.
Right.
It was the next weekend.
Oh my God.
That was the shoot date. That was the first day of shooting.
And it
Mark and I still kind of flirt with each other about the idea.
You should, because that sounds amazing.
His ascendance in that time frame.
Yeah.
It bugs me only in that we had some beautiful ideas and we had beautiful imagery and we still have good ideas. Mark's schedule alone right now. I was texting with him today. As a matter of fact, I was texting with him today about another artist, and it'd be difficult at this time.
Right.
But maybe
that would.
But that's one I hope to get off. And then there's one other project out there that we're socializing. I'm working here in town, so this to support local. Chan Maurice Evans is a local guy. He's an Edwardsville guy. I think.
He went. He's a guitarist.
Yeah. Is he an Edwardsville guy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. All right. Well, shout out to Chan.
Some friends of ours.
Chan started a little similar. It's like a podcast type of thing. We've been talking about doing a documentary, and it's kind of like Black Faces and Punk Rock Spaces kind of feel. And we've already actually done some of the interviews. So where we are in the process is we're in the process of hopefully getting together a sizzle and then try to whet some appetite toward a larger production documentary, more than likely, of this thing. So it's the obvious, like Fishbone and 24/7 Spas and Bad Brains and, Living Color, Superhero Killer, freaking Sinister Dane.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Shout out
to him. He's good friends of a friend who passed away, Matt Beatty.
Okay.
And when I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, shout out to Michael Beatty, our second listener. That's their brothers.
Okay.
So
amazing. Full circle.
Crazy.
Full circle moment. Yeah. So my role in that is as a producer and connecting the dots for Chan. It's Chan's project. Myself and Don Williams from Superhero Killer. Just because that's the world that they occupy. I didn't come up in the punk rock scene or anything like that. I just happen, crazy enough, to have the relationships with, say, Chris or Angelo from Fishbone, and can kind of reach the other guys. So I've been very, very blessed and fortunate to make good friendships and relationships outside of the motorcycle world that they trust me when we want to do a little project. So.
That'll be amazing. That will be amazing to watch. But with Carrie, we're big fans of rock and roll documentaries, and
definitely.
There's nothing better than a music documentary, is there?
Watch them.
Wait, give me a couple good docs.
Chili Peppers,
Just watched
Halal,
it.
the one that's really good.
Great.
The Beastie Boys.
I haven't seen that one.
Have you seen? You know about the Beastie Boys book, right?
I'm aware, but I haven't.
And if the audio book of the Beastie Boys book is better, because it's read by like 20 different actors and comedians. They read the book.
Crazy.
And then the Beastie Boys interject like sidebars. And then there's a documentary film that goes with that as well. So
very
like
cool.
3 pieces of media that go with that one particular documentary, which is...
Give me some more docs.
Yeah.
What was the punk place in Kansas that Henry Rollins said it was super cool to go to, but the Outhouse, I think, was by a cornfield.
Okay.
Punk club.
Right.
Said if you go in there, you could possibly die, but it was worth it.
Sick.
The best one that I've seen in recent years, in addition to like I love the Beatles one that is 8 hours where they
Be.
found but the one that's just kind of the same thing is they've just found in 2-3 years ago the Tom Petty footage from 94 of making Wildflowers, and it was sat in a vault. Nobody knew it was there, so they make this great documentary. That one's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's Somewhere Where You Belong, I believe.
Okay.
Somewhere Where You Feel Free.
Zeppelin's documentary was really good too.
Yeah.
That's out there.
I think I saw that one.
Yeah, I just love watching. I mean, it's put those.
The
things
Devo
on.
one's pretty good.
Oh, Devo's
man,
fantastic.
those guys were as bizarre as they get. And I think from Akron, somewhere in
I forget
Ohio.
where they're from. But
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, if you guys see any good docs, please send them to me. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite. That's one of my favorite things to do is to watch docs. I get so inspired, and I draw a lot of inspiration from that stuff. So
I think sometimes like that when you the real bizarre ones too. I mean, and I love the Petty and the Beatles, but when you see something like Devo, it's just it's kind of stay true to what you're doing, what we were talking about earlier, because they did,
yeah,
and legendary for it. Same
Absolutely.
with Beasties.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
be a different world if Yacht was still here.
If they were still creating, I wonder what they'd
No,
be
I mean
making.
if Adam Yacht was still here.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm saying,
yeah.
I think,
like,
I
if
think
they're-
it'd be a different world. No,
Yeah.
not even just as Beastie Boys and creating as a human being,
Right.
As a spokesman towards the greater higher self and how to be in this world. I mean, if you think about some of the artists and folks that are no longer with us, man, you could say the same thing about Pac, or you could say the same thing about,
Yeah, they definitely left a lasting legacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gives us an opportunity to kind of just contemplate what they would have done, like you say,
Right.
like you're saying. But
Bob, Joe Strummer. I mean, you could go on and go, man, what would that look like?
Hendrix. Well, he would be a little old now, but I think the interesting thing too about the guys that Hendrix, Joplin, and the ones that died young, they never had a chance to. They were great. They never had a chance to get old and not be good. They're
Yeah.
Didn't
so
Austin-
legendary.
Sly.
Yeah,
It's
that might have
interesting.
been one of the best.
Yeah, that doc. That's interesting.
Well, you have that motorcycle picture of Hendrix.
Yes. In my
That
living room.
didn't Austin give you that piece? Or-
Spade George gave me that
Yeah.
one.
That was pretty cool that you talked about that it was an original piece.
Yeah, that's an original poster. Spade George is a really amazing collector of memorabilia, having lived in San Francisco all that time and going to Fillmore West.
Yeah.
He has all of the posters from like that era and all that amazing art. And
Those things are incredible.
Bonnie-
Those would be a great art show.
yeah,
yeah, just amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be an amazing art show.
Some of the first printings of those, the price,
Yeah.
if you can find those.
What's that artist? Bonnie McLean? Is that her name? I won't recall some of the names. And then Max. I feel bad. One of my closest friends, his name is Gin. He has a brand called, he's an artist. His name is Love Ear Art. He's in Japan. He's based in Yokohama. But he's really inspired by that artwork. And he used to do like kind of 60s, kind of psychedelic painting and that type of font and all those things. So he's really
love
well
that.
versed. We made a pilgrimage out there a couple of years ago, and we went to Fillmore West, and I talked our way in there, and I did what Will does, and I talked us in. Full of Will, and got in there. I also talked into the Broad. It used to be a 2-year waiting list to get into the Broad, and if you've never been,
No.
when you go to LA, you have to go to the Broad. That's an amazing exhibit. I talked our way into there one night. One time, Ginn was in town, and we walked up to the Broad. They had about a year waiting list at that time.
Holy cow.
And I said, Mr. Katsuragawa here has some work in the museum. We'd very much like to, whatever. And the lady looked at me like, what? I said, oh, me and Ginn are trying to sneak into the museum. She let us in.
Oh, the truth will set
She
you
let
free.
us in. Oh, that's one of my favorites. Yeah. I got to go see the King Pleasure exhibit, Basquiat.
Oh, yeah.
When it was in LA. That was cool. Because they did a complete mock-up of his childhood
really?
apartment and home. And then they did a complete mock-up, realistic, of his studio. I mean, there was shit strewn everywhere. It was pretty. It was arresting.
There's a cool thing that I was reading about Madonna when she was dating him. And she said she woke up at 4 a.m. and he wasn't next to her. And she goes out into the living room where he was working, and he's just standing there staring at his work and contemplating what he was going to do next.
Yeah.
We had a really neat exhibit that came to St. Louis that was at the Contemporary Art Museum.
I remember that. I went to that.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive. Like, you got to see like all the notebooks, and all the little small sketches and stuff.
That was from a chick who lived in an apartment with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she had all these personal effects from primarily early work, notebooks and that kind of stuff. My notebook is one of his notebooks. There's even one you can buy, and it has his doodles and stuff in there, but I just put my shit right alongside his. I just turned it, because it's got blank pages, I just put my shit on the blank page. I think you're supposed to just use it as like a coffee table book, but I use it. I actually use it. That's hilarious. That's great. Yeah.
Do you think every artist has a notebook?
They should.
I think
several.
So.
Yeah. I redid my new studio, and I'm like, just got all these notebooks that just like came out of nowhere. I was like, where? I just like store them different places and getting everything organized. I got like 20 filled up notebooks that are just laying there. I probably should open them up and see what's there. But
here's one I did that was kind of cool here in St. Louis. D.L. Warfield. Are you guys familiar?
I know the name.
D.L.'s a Hazelwood East grad. I don't know when D.L. came out. I want to say D.L. would have come out in '87. He might be an '86 dude. But D.L. also went to WashU. He was an amazing football player, and he happened to be a really good artist. And it's a very unique situation, and I think you guys know when this left brain, right brain, or I don't know what you want to call it, but somebody who's that artistic, not often always a stellar All-American athlete as well. He happens to just have both of these qualities. TL eventually ended up in New York. I don't know who he was working for in New York, but he was doing some stuff. And there was an opportunity to work for LaFace Records. They were looking for a creative director.
Oh, wow.
This fool
What a
sent,
job would that be?
yeah,
this fool sent L.A. Reid a bomb in the mail. And basically said, D.L. Warfield is the bomb. And they said, whatever fool is crazy enough to send a bomb in the mail, they hired him. So D.L. Warfield is responsible for all the artwork and album covers such as Outkast, A.T. Aliens, and the earlier one, TLC, Usher, Michael Jackson. I mean, he's worked with every artist from that area at that time, and he's still an amazing, just really amazing artist and a good friend. But here in St. Louis, a couple of years ago, I was doing some work with the Kranzberg Arts Foundation, and one of the things I was charged with was like, not co-curating, but like facilitating introductions and making some things happen with regard to the murals down there and some other stuff. In fact, we have a Lady Pink mural. That was my phone call.
Nice.
Yep. But we did a show called The Dope Show with DL. I ideated this thing in the shower. I was in the shower, and the original idea was that he has a cube that he does. It says dope. It's similar to the Robert Indiana Love thing. It's just dope. And it's nothing more hip-hop. We were celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip-hop that year.
Right.
Yeah, I saw the photos of that you posted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was neat.
So I had a vision of one of these big cubes, I don't know, somewhere down in Washington District or Grand Central Arts District, and just like what you call like a impression generator. People go and take a picture next to it. We don't have so much of that in St. Louis. Yeah. Where's your winged wall? Like in LA, you got all of that crap. So this was my brilliant idea, and I was telling DL, man, we could do a show, and then in the show, we could display all the album covers, but then if you have your notebooks, it'd be cool to show like the impetus of the idea, like show the unfinished, like the genesis, the beginning, the unfinished work, and then what the final product was. And that's exactly what we did. So he showed the album covers on one side, then they did wallpaper, floor to ceiling, of his notebook, just doodles and scratches and different things of cool. His notebook. It was so neat.
Awesome. That is amazing.
It was super dope. I mean, just sketch like Snoop Dogg back in the day, and just like random stuff in his notebook and superheroes and cool shit. It was.
Oh, that would be cool.
I was proud of that.
Yeah.
I wasn't as connected to the Lady Pink thing once I made the connection and the phone call, so I don't have as much stake in that, but I'm glad to have had that happen for our
Right.
city.
Excellent shit.
That's it.
Excellent stuff.
What else you got? I'll wear these cats down.
Oh my gosh. This was just a great show.
It was. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
We have more water.
Yeah, drink
That's
some
all I
of those
need.
water.